Hi, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Jelena.
Welcome to our YouTube channel, where today we're going to talk about Ashtanga's Ardha Baddha Padma Pascimattanasana. Ardha means
Half,
Baddha,
bound,
Padma,
lotus,
Pascimattanasana,
west side stretch.
half bound, lotus, forward bend, west side stretch. That's right. And this is in Ashtanga's primary series. We've done a pose very similar to this, but it's standing, and it's called Ardha Baddha Padmotanasana. So it's close, doesn't have the Pascimattanasana.
But before we go into vinyasa details and me demonstrating it, just make sure to subscribe, like, and comment so that we can keep doing this.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to show you how to do the pose, the full version, and then also a modification for it. Very common to have to modify this pose because half lotus is so challenging for people.
Do you find the standing or the seated easier?
I find the seated easier because I don't have to deal with balance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and your body's tiny bit more warmed up at that point too. You've done a few more vinyasas back and forth.
In the Ashtanga sequence, Ardha Baddha Padmotanasana, the standing version, comes first, and it always feels very early in the practice.
Yeah, to do half lotus.
Yeah.
But the balance is quite tricky because you're folding all the way down on one leg. But here,
here you're
nice
comfortably
and seated.
Yeah. So we would do, the vinyasa, jumping through from downward dog. We jump through to sit, sapta. That's the Sanskrit count. On the inhale, and get set up. So eventually that's all one breath in. Are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it. Okay. And then ashtau into the state of the asana. So why don't we look at the vinyasa count first, and then we can talk about the alignment. I'll be here and try not to get kicked. Ready? Okay. So we go sapta, inhale, jump through, and Jelena's going to keep the left leg extended, and she brings the right leg back into half lotus, all on the inhale eventually. Ashtau, with the exhale, she folds into the state of the asana. That's the vinyasa that you hold for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nava, inhale, head up. Exhale here. There's no vinyasa count, which means there's no cue. Nothing happens. Dasha, on the inhale, she crosses the legs and picks up. Yekadasha, exhale, goes back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Dwadasha, inhale. Trayodasha, exhale. And then she would repeat the same thing on the other side, starting with Chaturdasha, inhale, jump through, set up on the left side. Yeah. Are you doing the whole thing?
I'm doing modified on this side.
Okay, and then Panchadasha, exhale, fold into the state of the asana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Padagrai Drishti, that means the tip of the foot. Shodasha, inhale, your head up. Exhale, no count, no movement, so we're following the same pattern, right? Saptadasha, inhale, cross the legs, pick up. Ashtadasha, exhale, go back. Yekuna Vimshatihi, inhale, upward dog. Vimshatihi, exhale, go back into downward dog. That's it. I've asked a couple of times in the videos if people want that count, if they're interested, and every time somebody writes, yes, I'm interested.
Want to know the details.
If you're into Ashtanga, it's really important. And we actually have a course all about counting called Learn to Count. And we also go over it in our primary series intensives. We could put a link to those courses there if you're interested in learning that count, which I assure you transforms your practice.
It brings another level of mindfulness, specifically to your breath, right? Mindfulness practices are about being aware of your breath. And so it really allows you to kind of deepen your practice in like not just the physical level, but that there is something else to it.
The structure, it helps you hold the structure. or be aware of when you're not holding the structure.
Which is also mindfulness.
All right. Back to Ardha Baddha Padma Pascimattanasana. So what we're going to try to do is bring, on the first side, the right leg up into half lotus. So we do have videos on coming into lotus. You can see it here. We'll link to it, another one there. Okay, this is a great video. It tells you all about how to keep your knees safe, stuff like that. So we want to bring the top of the foot to the top of the thigh, ideally with the heel on the, in this case, the left side of the navel. And you can see Jelena's got a nice line with the ankle. So eventually, when our hips will allow it, we want to bring the foot on top like that, so that the toes are sticking out to the side. That'll come in handy when we're trying to grab them too. But it's normal at first to have a challenge and maybe the foot looks like that a little bit. So you want to get the leg nice and high. One is that the heel presses into the belly in the forward bend and, promotes cleansing.
Digestion, yeah.
And then the other is that you're going to try to reach this arm around and catch the foot, right? So the higher the foot is on your thigh, the more of a handle you have to grab. If your foot is low, it's going to be really difficult to catch the foot. Also, when Jelena brings this arm around, the right arm behind her back, she's trying to grab the whole foot. You see how she's catching the inside of the foot, not just the big toe.
Yeah. This hurts.
Yeah. We've seen a few people tear their big toe right off, and it's messy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to try to get a nice full grip with all your fingers. You work up to it. It's a depth thing as well.
And then if you're able to do this, then you can try and deepen it a little bit by gently flexing. This is what I do. Flexing your heel ever so slightly in the belly. And then your fingers kind of become a hook over the top of your foot. So it becomes a little bit passive, like I'm not actually actively pulling, but rather it's almost the other way. I'm flexing and my foot is pulling my arm in this direction, but really what that shows up as nice stretch in my arm and a lot of engagement throughout my lower belly in the pelvic floor.
One of the things that we see people do a lot, especially when you're learning the pose, is they'll kind of chase the foot without maintaining the position of the leg. So when they turn the hip...
I'll just do the other one. Sure.
When they turn, their hip also turns, and then the foot moves away from the hand, So you're just going to kind of go in circles around yourself. So when you're doing this, sometimes you could even hold the foot with the one hand, the knee with the one hand, and then bring the arm around behind you, or just gently adduct, bring the thigh in towards the center line as you twist your upper body only and not your hips. The other thing that you could do is come into a little bit of a forward bend, just to get the fingers closer to because your hand is basically resting on your lower back, when you come around. So if you can get your lower back closer to your foot, that's going to make it easier for the hand to grab. And then once you've got the bind, make sure to bring your shoulders level again. So it's normal to twist to catch, totally fine, but then don't go forward in that position like this. I see that a lot. Make sure that this shoulder, before you even try to bind to catching the other foot, make sure that this shoulder comes as far forward as you can get it again so the shoulders are level. Then initiate the forward bend. The other hand catches the foot eventually, and you're going to actively use that arm, bending the elbow to try to draw your head closer to your foot, chin towards your shin. Drishti is the tip of the foot, padagrai. So you don't have to necessarily see your foot, but it's giving you information about which way you're going, right?
Yeah, sometimes we see this as a way to do the pose, and it might look deeper, but it's kind of a collapse. So here.
See, she's got the round back kind of, and the head's dropping down. So what we would prefer is that the chest stays a bit more open and the neck is just slightly extended, just slightly, so that you're, coming forward towards your foot instead of down towards your knee. Okay. And then that's good for that part, and talk about the modification?
Yeah, I think so. And just make sure that the front leg, to help you kind of come back to that center line, that you're resisting the urge will be for the leg that's extended to kind of be passive and turn out. Make sure you're spinning it back in. You're spinning it in only to bring it back to neutral, and then ground yourself by pressing down through the heel. So we don't teach lifting the heel and hyperextending, but the other way down. So as you press through the heel, you'll feel more muscle engaged throughout your leg, including the pelvic floor, and all of that kind of helps you stay more centered and balanced as you then deepen it.
All right, and then this leg will be the same, but this knee, if you're having trouble with the lotus leg, we can do the flamingo pose, which is just making basically a 4 shape. And the ankle comes above and just outside the knee. This is an excellent hip opening posture. So you won't be able to bind the hand to the foot because it's further down the leg, but you could still put your arm behind your back and then go forward like that. And you'll feel a nice deep stretch in the back of the left hip around the glute medius and the piriformis and stuff. Feel it stretching and lengthening. And that is going to prepare the hip and for half lotus by letting the femur move more freely.
It's funny because this modification for me feels deeper in the hip.
You feel more
than the half lotus. Like I do like this sensation like in the hip. So
yeah, simple.
All right.
Okay, I hope that was helpful.
Let us know.
Yeah. See you next time. Remember to like, subscribe, comment.
Ciao.
Bye.